One show that is depicting the realities of the immigrant struggle in a rather comical way. Gordita Chronicles follows the story of a Dominican family that migrated over to Miami longing for the American dream, but when they arrive, everything is not what it seems.
Always be home for us.
But only for a few more days because we are soon going to have a gorgeous new home in Miami.
If we don't go home, I'll die or run away.
The song said America the Beautiful. I think they oversold it.
Girls, give America a chance. What do you say?
Joining us now is actress Olivia Goncalves and show creator Claudia Forestieri. Let's start with the title of the series, Gordita Chronicles. You know, Gordita obviously means chubby, and for many Latinos, it's kind of a term of endearment, but it has a little bit of a different meaning, connotation sometimes here in the United States for English speakers. Explain the nuance of the name and also why you decided to name the show Gordita Chronicles.
Sure. So Gordita, as you said, means chubby. And for Latinos, it's used as a term of endearment sometimes, but it also depends on the tone. Because they could be like, come here, Gordita. But sometimes they could tell you like, oh, you're getting Gordita. And then, but in the United States, when you translate it, like you can't just call anybody on the street like chubby, like, oh, come here, little chubby. Like you'll get smacked on the head. So that was part of like my learning curve when I came to the United States, is knowing like even when you translate it, it doesn't quite mean the same thing.
And you, Olivia, play Cuckoo, who's kind of a witty, we saw a little bit of the sass in your character. And this is one of your first times ever acting. What attracted you to this role? And do you find that Olivia and Cuckoo are very different, or do you guys have a little bit in common?
Well, what attracted me to this role is that I was a young, 12, chubby Dominican-year-old immigrant, and I am Dominican. I am 12 years old, and I also am on the chubby side. So that's what attracted me, and I feel like me and Cuckoo are very similar because we're, like I said, both chubby, both 12 years old, both Dominican. I'm not an immigrant, but I don't know.
You love playing it?
Yeah.
The role? Because
it's so much like myself. So it's like I'm living my normal life. It's scripted.
Oh, that's fun. And Claudia, I'm curious because the Migrant Policy Institute actually says that 60% of Dominicans who migrate to the United States live in New York or New Jersey. So why did you decide to actually have this in Miami?
Because that's where I grew up, and that's the experience that I knew. And being Dominican in Miami was like being a minority inside of a minority. When we moved there in the 80s, my dad worked for an airline, like the fictional father, Victor. And, you know, there was the Cuban community that was growing. And then inside the Cuban community were us as Dominicans. So in some ways, it was double hard being like Dominican in Miami. But now, actually, Miami has a big Dominican neighborhood called Alapata. So we don't have as many as in New York, but there are Dominicans in Miami too. Alex Rodriguez is a famous one who was there. And there's probably some other ones that I can't recall right now. But I think Oscar de la Renta had a house there too.
And the show also kind of highlights some of the microaggressions experienced by immigrants. In episode 2, we see Cuckoo having a little bit of difficulty speaking Spanish in class. Let's play a clip.
Okay, the Bill of Rights contains the first 10 amendments to the Constitution, the right that los americanos más quieren, like freedom of speech, the right to decir lo que quieras and not get thrown in la cárcel.
Cuckoo, I'm going to stop you. This is an English-only class, and that's because... In America, we speak English. Very good.
Forced assimilation is often commonly experienced by immigrants. How did you prepare for that particular part, this role in general?
Well, to prepare myself for this role, I just took advice from my mom, my aunt, and my manager.
Perfect.
Was to just be myself, and that's what I did on all my auditions while playing the role. And being Dominican, it's not hard to play a Dominican in a TV show, so everything was like, it worked perfectly together.
You just get to be yourself.
Yeah.
And Claudia, so in the same episode, you have Eduardo, who's a custodian, who talks about how he used to be a doctor when he was in Nicaragua. Why was that important for you to talk about that?
Because one of the reasons I created this show is because I felt there wasn't a show that demonstrated the immigrant experiences that I grew up around in Miami. And part of a lot of the people that were in Miami, whether they came from Nicaragua or Cuba, had these other past lives. And they were very brave people that came and started over. So just because someone is emptying out your trash doesn't mean that 10 years ago they weren't in the operating room back in their native country. That's part of the immigrant experience. You know, sometimes you gotta take a little step back to move forward.
And Olivia, with all your success now, what's next for you? I mean, this was just one of your first acting gigs. Do you want to continue doing this?
Yeah, it's been a really fun experience. I hope if I have any more experiences like this, it goes the same, because nothing was out of place. I feel like it was just a nice, smooth road. No bumps at all. Everything was great. The amazing cast. This beautiful woman right here who I play as her younger self. And I'm just glad I chose this job.
I'm glad that you chose it as well. We look forward to watching. Olivia, Claudia, we thank you so much for joining us today. You can stream Gordita Chronicles on HBO Max today.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.